I was on the trending page of the freaking Amino app. Hey, what's up everybody, and it's time for a Star vs. the Force of Evil video, specifically the Battle for Mewni Part 2 analysis video. So yeah, I definitely did not forget about it. I've just been held back with other videos, and I always want to keep my promises. I said I was going to complete my Battle for Mewni analysis videos, and that's exactly what the heck I'm going to do. Now just bear with me, because the next two episodes, including this one this one and the very next one, will be episodes that aren't exactly too important. And even though they are two episodes that I will be discussing in these videos, they aren't exactly the most mind-blowing facts out of the episodes. I believe the biggest and most significant analysis that I'll ever have to go over with the Battle for Mewni episode will most likely be the part 4 of this 2-hour premiere, also known as the episode Toffee. And oh yeah, I can't wait to analyze that part of the 2-hour premiere, even though some of you probably may have analyzed it yourselves by now. But anyways, let's just get started with this part of the analysis. As for the titles of this particular episode, part 1 is Book Begun and part 2 is Marco and the King. The episode opens up with Ludo awakened after repossessing his body after being passed out. It's funny because both Star and Ludo have their own story as to what happened the very next day after the episode Star Crush. Oh yeah, and so does Marco and his parents. Strangely enough, as it turns out, Ludo has no clue as to what occurred the night before. So before, when I had theorized that he knew he was being controlled by Toffee, that was not the case. And also, not only did the rats return, but so did the bird as well as the spider. I really like the continuity of how they showed the both of them actually getting something from the taco restaurant. Another thing that they touched upon on this episode was the fact that Glossaric was not dead or anything like that, but instead was simply hiding. And as Glossaric says, he was told to hide. Of course, Ludo wasn't the one who said this, but Toffee was. And there was even some revealment that, of course, Ludo had no idea what the heck was going on. And therefore, after being told that the High Commission were defeated by him, he thought that he was the one who actually did it. And remember, one interesting aspect about Glossaric is the fact that the High Commission are actually technically his children. According to the book Star and Marco and their adventure with the, dimension and all the other stuff, I don't even remember the title at the moment, I'm sorry. This is where they revealed that, and I talked about it in this video. Don't know if you guys saw it or not, but maybe you should watch it and stuff. Some interesting facts in this book. But anyways, that's enough of me promoting myself. Let's get back to the video. I guess Glossaric's reaction was kind of hidden. It wasn't sort of like a thing where he was traumatized. He seemed a little bit meh about it. But it was probably because of the fact that, I'm pretty sure this is true, Glossaric can see a little bit into the future, and therefore he knew that they were going to be revived in the end. And I guess that kind of explains how he's able to teach so many of the butterflies. I mean, of course there's that, and because he's wise. And after this, basically to sum it up in a nutshell for this episode, the whole point is Ludo is no longer the owner of the Book of Spells. But instead, since Toffee has taken over Ludo, Toffee is the new person that takes over the Book of Spells. So whenever Ludo attempts to make any markings from within the book, it actually avoids him from doing so. And eventually, Ludo breaks down and becomes so frustrated with the book that he just gives up and throws it in the fire. And then Toffee takes over and starts talking to Glossaric, saying that this wasn't actually part of this plan, but it was a good way to get rid of Glossaric apparently. Now, here's a question that I bet a lot of you are probably asking, or maybe not even asking after watching the 4th part of the Battle for Mewni premiere. And that question is Glossaric really gone? Is he dead? Is he gone forever? Heck freaking no! This guy is one of the most, actually no, he is the most powerful, most magical person in the entire universe. Or, well, in the cartoon, of course. But yeah, you guys understand what I'm saying to you. There's no way that a tiny little fire is gonna break apart the Book of Spells and Glossaric just like that. I mean, by the way he was dissolving, it did seem like he was dying in a way, but I doubt it. And before I end this part of the analysis, let me just say that there's also another thing that needs to be asked. Does Glossrick really have a true side? Toffee does claim in this episode that he was in a way distracting Ludo from getting his attention. And although it didn't seem like it, it could have been possible that Glossrick was trying to get him on his side somehow. Or at least distract him far enough from being able to take over Mewni eventually. It was definitely something to think about at the moment. And before the episode ends, not only does Glossrick finally make his perfect pudding, but Ludo finally repossesses his body again, and once he does, Toffee gets his attention through the wand hand and tells him to take over Mewni. And after that episode ends, we transition to the next episode titled Marco and the King, which I would not completely label it as necessarily a filler episode, but of course it did include some minor details and other things that were part of the plot of this episode, or well, in this case, 2-hour premiere. So the beginning starts off with King Butterfly trying to enjoy himself, having the kingdom to himself basically, but also in a way subliminally lying to himself, not knowing the fact that Queen Butterfly is safe or not. He also tries to hide that fact of worry by partying a bunch with a monkey and some other people, I guess. And no, I'm not saying this off the top of my head, this actually happens in the episode. So eventually on a particular morning, Marco comes into the scene. And when he does, he at first not only uses his dimensional scissors, I love that by the way, he travels there to give Star her favorite cereal from Earth, also known as one of the the sugariest cereals ever, which was revealed in the episode Crystal Clear. But the episode begins to take a turn when Marco begins to help King Butterfly alongside with the Mewmins. And as it turns out, the monster that was supposedly terrorizing the city in the end, it actually was not terrorizing them. It just simply thought that King Butterfly was telling him to come here, but he didn't. So that was interesting. Really? Seriously? What the heck? And it was also funny to hear the fact that King Butterfly said that Marco reminded him of his wife, because for some reason, even in this particular episode, he's always been consistently great at pep talks, or just simply encouraging a person to do better in what they're trying to do. Yeah, Marco's been like that as a character since season 1, and I respect him for that. And so this encourages King Butterfly to talk to the monster, who of course, like I said earlier in the video, actually thought that King Butterfly was telling him to come here, but he didn't. And by the way, while he was talking to the monster, did he kill that guy he stepped on, or was that a joke? Is he dead? Or nah? But anyways, that's not even the true monster of this episode. Do you want to know the true monster? Ludo. He comes in, and at the very end, he tries to take over Mewni. Well, not tries to, but he does. And yeah, for this part of the episode, that's basically it. We're gonna have more, details and other great facts in the very next one. But like I said in the beginning of this episode, it doesn't really begin to start picking out with some really great stuff to analyze until the episode Toffee. So just pretty much one more episode away, and not only that, but I can then officially say that I am done analyzing the Battle for Mewni 2-hour premiere. And yes, like I said before, I'm weeks late, but I need to keep my promise, and I'm gonna keep going with these parts. There's 2 more left, and I can't wait to see you guys, hopefully in the next one, and the next one after that, and the next one after that, and some other videos. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. This is starting to get awkward. Peace!
All around me are familiar faces.